Let's get ready, shall we? Started down with the last couple of answers. I know there's been no cooperation, but with the honor pledge and all. A reminder of the rules. No penalty for guessing. Questions are worth 1 point unless otherwise indicated. You are not to have used your phones, I'm sure also. Strictly by fine. And I am the final arbiter of which answers are right and wrong. However arbitrary, capricious, or incoherent my decisions may be. I also reserve the right to arbitrarily dock points for evidence of cheating. Okay. Alrighty, in the first section, brain teasers. So, this is the section in which 7th graders and parents are the only folks who can score points. And they are worth 3 points each. Question 1. If you are running a race and you pass the person in 2nd place, which place are you now in? Second place, exactly correct. Gotta pass the first place person to be in first place. Question 2. Johnny's mother had 3 children. The first child was named April, the second was named Meg. What was the third child's name? Johnny. Johnny, very good. Question 3. What month of the year has 28 days? All of them, very good. All right. Number 4. Maybe it's simple, but it's like Number 4. You know, look, there is a patch of blue. Every day the patch doubles in size. If it takes 48 days for the patch to cover the entire lake, how long would it take for the patch to cover half the lake? 47 days, yes. Half of the size. Good. Question 5. Susan and Lisa bet $1 on each tennis game they played. Susan won 3 bets, and Lisa won $5. How many games did they play? 11. 11, very good. Well done. Very good. Lisa wins 8 games, wins $8. Susan wins 3 games, wins $3 back, or 11 games. Excellent. Okay. There were 15 possible points in the brain teaser section. Add up your score and jot it down for reference.
I didn't realize that they were pounding it on the back.
Section 2. Which coach is, question 1, famous for wearing muted green? That is Coach Chris. Exactly correct. His very favorite color. We have good pictures of the kids comparing it to those green juice drinks that enjoy. Number 2, was the bagel inside you all along? That's me, exactly. Wyatt has a habit of carrying a stale bagel with her at debate tournaments, but then somehow won the Berkeley tournament without carrying a bagel around, and we deduced that it was the bagel inside of us all along. All right. Add up your 1 or 2 or 0 points from that section and note it down. All right. Our next section, which junior or senior? Question 1. I have no classes. I just show up to bless people. Excellent. Question number 2. I'm actually involved in the combat robotics community. Jocelyn, Coach Chris suggested, why isn't robotics just BattleBots? Give the people what they want. And Jocelyn told us that she had personal experience in that area. All right. Number 3, played the Sugar Plum Fairy in this year's Nutcracker. Gina, go Gina. Excellent. Number 4. Well, you said that MR was T, and I thought it was a joke, so I laughed. Yeah, Wyatt thought that her opponent's argument was so bad that he was telling a joke, but he wasn't telling a joke. She's such a bully. Anyway, all right. Number 5. Student says, I got judged by both sets of siblings in the judging pool, the Doshas and the Flemings. Inform her that there's only one Fleming here. She says, I just thought they were wearing the same shirts. Yeah, that's Violet. She also sent the emails to everyone. Number 6. Claims to know every juggler in Los Angeles. Alexis. She talked about volunteering to juggle somewhere. I said, aren't you worried that you're displacing jugglers that need the work? And she said, I knew all the alternatives and they weren't available. Okay. Anyway, number 7. Got locked in a car and had to yell for help. Well, nobody knows that one. Why? No, that's mine. You don't remember. After the NBC tournament, we stopped for some food. We all got out and walked to the restaurant, turned around and went, it's taking Maya so long to get out of the car. Parent-child safety laws. Maya is the answer to number 7. Number 8, her alter ego is despair. Hope, yes, Hope, normally a lovely person, a sunbeam, mocking, boring. Just debaters who are learning, and we thought her alter ego is coming out when we were in despair. Number 9, the grand pumas of the sweatshirt committee are Violet and Wyatt. Yes, an honorable title if ever there was one. Very good. Yes, Penelope has claimed the status of the vice grand puma. All right, number 10. I said, you didn't think Coach Chris was married? And the student said, I thought he was like 20. And I said, 20-year-olds can get married. And she said, I feel like that's more of a Texas thing. Yeah, that's you, Mom. Number 11 says to her opponent, yo, want to watch my stuff while I go to the bathroom? Then takes a few steps, pauses and looks her, turns around and says, I trust you not to look at my photos. That's why being a bully to her opponents again. The kid can carry their stuff into the room. All right. Number 12. You should have seen cross-examination. We were like 2 wild feral cats. Yeah, that's also Maya, yeah. Number 13. Has flint, rope, and a compass with her at all times. That's Alexis. You want to be with Alexis when the apocalypse hits. All right, number 14. Shouted questions at Coach Chris while he was navigating. Yeah, that's Hope. Hope is a champion question asker. Coach Chris is trying to navigate. The navigation is like barking directions, and Hope is like shouting from the back seat. What does this piece of evidence say? Number 15. I'm going to kill my doppelganger, and I can say that publicly. There's only room for one of us. Yeah, that's Helena. Disturbing. All right. Number 16. Known for tucking in teammates. Violet. It's a very different instinct. Different. All right. All right. Number 17 is a collection. Is Croatia in Asia? I always mix up the Balkans and the Balkans. Are we in San Jose? We were in Torrance. Are we in Austin? We were in Atlanta. Texas is landlocked. That's wild. Yes. Geography, not this one. All right. 18. I buy all my stationery in Japan. That's Maya. It seems like a long way to go, but they have good stationery. Number 19. Wait, your teammates aren't listening to you, I said. The student replied, no, that's all right. Yeah, that's hope. It was hope again, not despair. All right. Number 20. Al says, my stomach hurts. The student says, can I psychoanalyze you? Your dreams been likely. That was Alexis, yes. Non-conventional treatment for a stomach ache. All right, number 21. Student says, sputtering, I have to get through this drill. I was doing my coughing and spluttering. I said, do you need to get some water used? She said, I can't get through this drill. Number 22. Debated so loudly that the debater in the next room had to put on noise-canceling headphones. That was why, I'm not kidding, the kid gave the next speech like this. All right. Where are we here? 23, right? Student says, I don't think that the file has sunk yet. No memory of that. That's Alexis. That was an attempted past tense of the word sink, which I think is not successful. Interesting. Okay. 24. The judge told her she was in the bottom 5% of races. That's pretty good. That was mine, yeah. All right. 25. Known for going walkabout. Violet. God bless her. Sometimes I'll look around and go, where is Violet? And I'll say, oh, there she is out in the parking lot, wandering around. Put that here. All right. Number 26. Student 1 says, as we're entering a freeway cloverleaf, look at this loop. And student 2 says, wow, it's just like Six Flags. Yep, student 1 is Jocelyn, student 2 is Gina. All right. 28 possible points in that section. Go ahead and add them up. Jot down what you got. All right. Next page. You're now on the sophomores. For 2 points, these folks messaged Mr. Thorson in terror because there were boys in the hotel lobby. Marley and Gabby. We are getting up in the morning, and I get a message that's like, Mr. Thorson, can you come right away? It's an emergency. So I like pull on clothes and race down to the lobby, and they're cowering in the corner of the continental breakfast area, and there are boys from other teams. Marley and Gabby are both characters. I asked the students a hypothetical about what they would do if they knew they had to undergo a surgery that would substantially reduce their intelligence. And Marley said, I'd be a teacher. At the Woodward tournament, at the Emory tournament, Gabby gave some predictions about football. It was about the time of the AFC and NFC championship game. And we were both watching the game on the airplane ride back. It's a tense game, very close. I'm watching intently on the airplane. And there's about 30 seconds left. And the Kansas City Chiefs are driving towards the end zone. I see Gabby waving at me. She gets my attention. And I pull out an earphone and she says, we're 30 seconds behind. They kick a field goal to win. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this is all going in the evidence file. All right. Number 2. Student says, a tournament with this many debaters is scary. I said, well, you only have to debate one at a time. Penelope says, and it's online. You don't even actually see them. The student says, I'm not even going. I just think the idea is scary. That's L. Number 3, describes church as the most religious institution I've ever been to. No, that was Jay. No. All right, student says, I haven't been condescending per se. Yeah, that's Penelope. Why did say you've been so condescending to me this practice? She says, well, I haven't been condescending per se. Number 5, if I buy a car from Apple, they're going to crash it when a new car comes out. Yeah, that's Georgia. Number 7, Wyatt says, I'm a victim of your computer. And the student says, I am a victim of you. Braylon, very good. And number 7, Wyatt says, you are so wise. I trust you implicitly. And the student replies, I am so wise. Sienna. I don't disagree. All right, 8 possible points in the sophomore section. Add them up and note down what you got. All right. Which freshman? Number 1, celebrated her birthday at the Excalibur Hotel and Casino with the team. Leah chose to go to a debate tournament on her birthday. We love it. All right. 2, Mr. Thorson says, why do you have Play-Doh? And this student says, why don't you have Play-Doh? Yep, that was Penny. Pretty good. Penny's also working on her sarcasm. Sometimes when she leaves the room, I say, bye, Penny, and she goes, bye. So let me calibrate that. All right. Number 3, impressed during COVID with her sparkly wall paint. Yeah, that was Sydney. It was very impressive. We were holding the camera up at the appropriate angles to get the sparkle. All right, number 4. Abby says, what if your sister gets kidnapped? I don't remember the beginning of that hypothetical. And the student replies, then I get my own room. Yeah, that's Kika. Number 5, these students joined the debate team and were new to Marlborough this year. 5 answers. Let's see how we do. I think you got them all. So we've got Jessica, Helen, Lucy, Sophia, and Chloe Jo. Up to 5 points, you can have any fraction of that for all the folks you got. Number 6, was bitten by a dog during one of her debates. Yeah, Olivia, one of the judges brought their dog. It was not ideal. Yeah, go figure. Number 7, student says, I was not going to guess that you were 38, more like 48. I said, because of my wisdom and emotional maturity? She said, no, look 48. Yeah, that's Corinna. Again, all this is going in the file. Number 8, posted Mr. Torson's Moody Cowboy Spotify playlist on Slack. Yeah, Miss Burke and I share a musical taste. She calls it Moody Cowboy. Thought that was a good name for a Spotify playlist. And then Andy goes and finds it on Spotify and posts it on Slack and says, "Are you a moody cowboy, Mr. Person?" Yeah, he's okay. All right, 12 possible points in the freshman section. Add up what you got and note it down. All right, which 8th grader? Number 1, catastrophized about the prospect of her opponent reading the affirmative yes in Mandarin. Yeah, that's Rory. Her opponent and friend were speaking Mandarin before the debate. She said, "What if she reads the whole half in Mandarin?" I think that probably would be a good thing to have the judges speak Mandarin. All right, number 2. Name the 8th graders who participated in closeouts this year. Closeout is when both debaters in the final round are from the same school. Anyone there? Okay. Maya Shaw is one. Rory is another. Sophia Moreno is another. And Carr. Absolutely. All right, Sarah. Very good. Up to 4 points, Maya, Rory, Sophia, Carr. Third question. Mr. Thorson says, "What kind of food are we hungry for?" The student replies, "Aquarium." Theo, yep, exactly correct. It wasn't like coded way to ask for seafood. There was just an aquarium in the offing. You want to go to the aquarium instead of eat food. Great. Number 4. Asserted her family had eaten her pet guinea pigs. Sophia. Now, it turns out that guinea pig is a delicacy in some places, and she has eaten guinea pig, but it was fabricated that it was a punitive strategy. Right. Number 5. Freaked out a stranger by doing speaking drills on a plane. Lucia, we've got video coverage. The poor guy. Disconcerted, I need to say. Lucia also got mad at me this year. When I see the kids, I often do a jokey, exaggerated wave at them. And until very late in the year, Lucia thought that that was our special wave. She saw me doing it to other people. She was very upset. And she's still mad. All right. Number 6. Student says, "My opponent cried in the middle of the round and forfeited. He was in the 10th grade and had a mustache. Then I apologized if I was too assertive. And he said, 'No, you're amazing. I can't believe you're in 8th grade. Now we're friends.'" Maya. Yeah, that's Maya. Very good. Number 7. I love old people, babies, and dogs. Chloe Swidler. Very good. That's a good list. All right. Number 8. Rory asks, "How was your round?" And the student replies, "Men suck. And I hate the world." Sophie? Life experiences? All right. Number 9. They are members of the Melodic Mustangs, up to 4 points. Yeah, it sounds like we got most of them there. So we have Theo, Sophie, Priscilla, and Beatrice, the Melodic Mustangs. Very good. And number 10. That's Sammy. When Sammy doesn't hear something right away, she has a very distinctive, Okay. Excellent. 16 possible points in the 8th grader section. Go ahead and add up your total. Note it down. All right. Which 7th grader? Number 1. I say, "This is Alexis. She's a junior and a juggler." Student says, "Oh, fun." That's Donovan, yep. Number 2. "Penelope, you're like a teddy bear." Yeah, that's Ella. Very nice. Number 3. Drove a teammate under the table by taking her picture. Yeah, that's Izzy. I don't think that's in the responsible use policy. All right. Number 4. Has an older sister on the debate team. Julia. Number 5. Her mom gave everyone snack bags at the Marlborough tournament. Sienna. Hooray for snack bags. Number 6. Isn't totally sure how to spell the 45th president's name. Yeah, that's Alicia. We leave off the last D. Oh well. Number 7. I think my dad is here because he called me and he just texted me, "I am here." That's Alicia with an A. All right. Number 8. Deliberately crunches her Cheetos loudly to break her teammates' concentration. That's Alyssa. Good. And number 9 has an 8th grade cousin on the debate team. Sarah. That's Sarah. Very good. All right. 9 possible points in that section. Add them up. You know them.
Get that right? Can you got yours?
All right. And we've got some bonus questions. Question number 1. Which of the following arguments did we not lose to this year? Old App's bad is one of them. We beat Old App's bad. The argument that if you don't try and trick me, you are not respecting me enough. Anyone know the other? There's one more.
You can't criticize.
Yeah, that's right. F. You can't criticize my citations. Hope managed to narrowly defeat at the Golden Desert Tournament. Every other argument on the list, we somehow lost to. Yeah, so we go all Yes. Okay. Number 2. List the parents who have volunteered to judge this year. I'll give you the list. So, Europa Shaw, Bente Jacobson, Dorothy Kim, Laura Adler, Michael Dershowitz, and Robert Guy. Thank you to those parent volunteers. All right, 1 point for each of those folks you got. Okay, this one's the tough one. This is where it's arbitrary and capricious. You have got to, these have to be 100% in the correct order. It is 0 points or 5 points for the option. Here's the order. The first one is E. The tournament staff tells us to leave the building and nobody moves. Someone said, there's still debates going on. And they went, all right. They weren't too dead committed to it. The second is J. We wore Halloween/homecoming costumes to prep. The kids were upset that they were missing the homecoming dance for a debate tournament. Too bad that wasn't foreseeable. And insisted that we stop at the Walmart to buy Halloween costumes, I guess, because it was around the same time. And they put on the costumes, but then realized that we had to prepare for the next day. So we were just sitting in the lobby doing debate work, wearing Halloween costumes. Wyatt in particular was wearing a lovely unicorn costume as various debate luminaries came to meet us. It was quite the exercise in sexual dominance. All right. The third answer is B. We saw a picture of Coach Chris in high school at the Apple Valley tournament. A good time was had by all. The fourth event is I. We rode a Ferris wheel in a sporting goods store at the Alta tournament. The fifth event was H. We reclaimed the boys' restroom as an all-gender restroom at Harvard Westlake. We were in a computer lab, and they only had a boys' bathroom, for God's sakes. All right. Everybody's sexy. Huh? Right on. Okay. The next one is A. We did a close reading of Billie Eilish songs. That happened at the Emory tournament. I'm just saying I can't hear her. Don't understand. That's right, yeah. Imagine being Billie Eilish's roadie and you're like, speak up, Billie. We can't hear you in the back. All right. The next, also at the Emory tournament, is G. We drove to 4 different Waffle Houses to find an open one. It is a cultural experience, part of the education. We had to find one. The next is letter D, the Golden Desert Tournament, where Judge Dillon gave us lots of, shall we say, interesting feedback, which I mean weird and profane. All right. The next event is C, the Marlborough Tournament, when a fire alarm went off in the middle of the tournament. That was a highlight. And the last is F. At the Westerns Tournament, our flight was delayed halfway through the boarding process because someone breached security and was running around the tarmac in the rain with no pants until the police caught them. So don't say these tournaments aren't learning experiences. Luckily, crack squad at LAX swarmed and eventually got him. They then had to search the tarmac in case he dropped anything, which I would think the no pants would have made work. Anyway, okay, 13 possible points in the bonus section. Add them up. All right. So, by my tally, there are 103 possible points on the trivia contest. Add up your total score, please. Coach Chris, in a minute, will you help me hand out awards?
6 points.
Okay, everybody have their tally? Anybody not have their tally? Okay, so 103 points. Did anybody get over 100 points? No takers over 100 points? Okay. Did anybody get over 90 points? Stand up if you got any more than 90 points. Uh-oh, we're already in the details. This is kind of devastating. Anybody get more than 80 points? No, really? Pretty good. Okay. More than 70 points. Okay. You had more than 70 points, go up to the prize table and take your prize, please. Well done, Olivia, and Theo, and Sophia. All right, anybody with more than 60 points, stand up. All right, well done. Go ahead and get your prize. More than 60 points. No problem. Anybody with more than 50 points? All right, if you have more than 50 points, go ahead and grab your prize. Once you have your prize, clear out so that we don't get too much of a glut. You have to choose quickly. That's right. I know these are very desirable prizes. Go with your gut. All right, so far so good. Here we go. Lots of great laptop stickers. Okay, perfect. Did all the people with 50 or more go up? Great. How about 40 or more? All right, 40 or more people, go on up. I don't know if we established. Olivia, how many points did you have? How many? 70 exactly. And who's over here? So, Theo, what did you get? What? 73, and Sophia, what did you have? 70, so Theo is the champion. Well done, Theo. There was some pretty big talk earlier about who was going to be the champion. All right. And how about folks with more than 30 points? 30. All right.
We go all again.
All right. Rigor, this is what we call rigor. More than 20 points. Go ahead on now. All right, more than 10 points. Anybody who has not yet gotten their prize, go ahead and head up and pick it.
A lot of people. What do you want? Anything? You guys are doing this.
It halfway before 7th grade.
So this one, it was on.
I just felt like every day. I'm back.
We are now going to do do some recognition of the outstanding accomplishments of our debaters from this year. So if I can have your attention, I appreciate it. All right, so there are a couple different categories of awards that we're going to give out tonight. The first are awards from the National Speech and Debate Association. All of our students are members of the National Speech and Debate Association. Every round in which they debate, they get, can folks hear me okay? Yeah. Every round in which they debate, they get points for the NSTA. They get, if they're in high school, they get 6 points if they win the debate, 3 points if they lose the debate. If they're in middle school, they get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a loss. Does that make sense? As they accumulate points, they can go up in what are called degrees. So when students reach 25 points, they have a degree of merit. When they reach 75 points, they have a degree of honor. And each time they get a new degree, they get a seal to put on their NSTA certificate. So you put it about a 1/4 inch over every time you get a new degree, and by the time you are older, you've got a cool looking certificate with multiple seals on it. Okay? So that's how the point systems work. This year, Marlborough students have accumulated about 19,000 NSTA points. Pretty good. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This will be an exercise in following instructions. I am going to read the name of everybody at a degree level. We're going to hold our applause, and then we're going to clap for all of them at one time as they come up and get their awards from Coach Chris. Does that make sense? Okay. The first group I'm going to read is not quite at 25 points yet, because it's hard to get that many when you're in middle school. So this first group of people, we're just going to have you stand as I say your name, and then we're going to recognize your efforts this year, okay? So our debaters earning NSTA points so far this year in this first group are Sion Pasha, Alicia Kim, Ella Fishbrook, Beatrice Scott, Alicia Park, Izzy Bugecki, Donovan K. Hilger, Priscilla Hope, Sarah Kim, Julia Kang, and Alyssa Liu. Can you all stand up, please? Well done. Next year we'll hit that 25-point mark and there will be certificates aplenty. All right, our next group of students has earned at least 25 NSTA points, which means that they have earned a degree of merit. So I'm going to say all of their names. They're going to come forward and get their certificates. And after I finish all their names, we will give them a round of applause. Our students with a degree of merit this year are Sammy Shapiro, Kara Jazari, and Theo Kim. Our next group of students have earned at least 75 NSTA points and therefore have earned a degree of honors. Those students are Chloe Swidler, Jessica Guo, Sophia Morena, Sophie Weiss, Lucia Sanchez-Gagerman, and Chloe Joe. Our next group of students have earned at least 150 NSTA points, which means that they have achieved a degree of excellence. Those students are Maya Shaw, Rory Baskin, Braylon France, Sydney Carlin, Kika Morena, Georgia Zander, and Abby Merchants. Our next group of students have earned at least 250 NSTA points and therefore have earned a degree of distinction. I'm going to tell you that I lied just 1 second ago because actually Abby is the first person that we have in this group. And the other people who have earned a degree of distinction are Corinna Mehta, Helena Hudlin, Penny Stoller, Olivia O, and Elle Dershowitz. Thank you.
Yours is for you.
Very good.
I was in
All right. Our next group of students have earned at least 500 NSDA points, and therefore have earned a degree of special distinction. They are Leah Fisher, Gina Kay, Gabby Adler, Sienna Graf, Penelope Pressman, Shay Lee, and Marguerite Sullivan. Our next group of students has earned at least 750 NSDA points, and therefore earned a degree of superior distinction. They are Jocelyn Scheck, Alexis Weiss, and Violet Affleck. Our next group of students has earned at least 1,000 NSDA points. Awfully impressive. Used to be the most you could get. And therefore, they have earned a degree of outstanding distinction. They are Hope Lee and Maya Jen. The highest degree that you can earn in the National Speech and Debate Association is a degree of premier distinction, which you earn when you have at least 1,500 NSDA points. Before this year, we have never had a student reach that total, with 1,810 NSDA points by Brentwood. That's either a lot of wins or lots and lots of losses. Okay. The next set of awards we'll give away are varsity letter awards. Our students earn a varsity letter if they clear to elimination rounds at a varsity tournament, what we call breaking at a varsity tournament. For each letter award the students receive, they get a handsome certificate. And when they get their first letter, they get a big M, like you would put on a letter person's jacket, and a patch that says debate, and a star patch. In fact, you get a star patch for each letter that you get. Now, you may be wondering why you don't see these letter person's jackets all around the room. We're still waiting for someone to take us up on it, but it might hope springs eternal. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. I am going to read the group of students who have achieved their first letter, and then their second letter, and then their third letter. And once again, I'm going to read all the students in that group, and then we'll recognize them at the end of the list, okay? So, students earning their first varsity letter this year. Breaking at 2 tournaments, L. Dershowitz. Breaking at 3 tournaments, Abby Merges. Breaking at 3 tournaments, Penelope Pressman. And breaking at 3 tournaments, Shay Lee. Congratulations. I know, can we hold up your ends so people can see? Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Coach Chris is looking out for you yet, but don't worry. Okay. So our next group of people are earning their second letter, okay? Breaking at 1 tournament this year is Gabby Adler, and I also want to make sure to note that because of a record-keeping mistake, I failed to recognize that Gabby also earned a letter last year. So this is her second letter, so let's give her double applause for this year. Breaking at 2 tournaments, Corinna Mehta. Also at 2 tournaments, Penny Stoller. Breaking at 4 tournaments, Olivia O. Breaking at 6 tournaments, Leah Fisher. Breaking at 6 tournaments, Marguerite Salkin. Breaking at 10 tournaments, Maya Jen. And breaking at 11 tournaments, Hope Lee. Remember, folks, my recommendation is that they do about 10 tournaments a season. So when you're hearing things like broke at 10 or 11 tournaments, that's awfully good. Okay. Earning their 3rd varsity letter. Marguerite says, wait, okay. Good, Marguerite? All right. Earning their 3rd varsity letter, breaking at 1 tournament this year, Alexis Weiss, and breaking at 2 tournaments this year, Jocelyn Sheck. And earning her 4th varsity letter, breaking at 15 tournaments this year. Ready. Someone just saying her been 16 minutes. Oh my goodness. That's the commitment to excellence. Okay. So, as impressive as our students' individual accomplishments are, their team accomplishments are somehow even more impressive. I'm going to run down some statistics for you from this year. And the context for these statistics is that last season, we had by far the best statistical season that we had ever had. So I want you to compare what I'm about to tell you to that fact. So Marlborough students debated 2,097 debate rounds this year in 34 tournaments. That is about 3,146 hours of competitive debating, or over 131 full days worth of debating. In those tournaments, our students earned 142 winning records, up from 98 last year. 81 speaker awards, up from 75 last year, including 9 top speaker awards. We participated in 177 elimination debates, up from 117 last year. We broke 105 times, up from 65 last year. We had 22 students go undefeated in prelims, up from 19 last year. And our students won 18 tournaments, up from 13 last year, including 5 closeouts, in which both of the final round participants were Marlborough debaters. And Wyatt, Maya Jen, Maya Shaw, Sophia Moreno, and Rory all won multiple tournaments this season. That is really, really outstanding. Winning a debate tournament is a pretty hard thing to do, so I actually want to specifically recognize those folks. Wyatt won Alta and Berkeley. Maya Jen won the Hollywood Invitational and the Cal Round Robin. Hope and Wyatt closed out the Global Desert Invitational. Penny won the Damien Tournament. Maya Shaw won the Woodward JV National Championship. Maya Shaw and Rory Baskin closed out the Western JV Regional Championship. Abby Merges and Maya Shaw closed out the Long Beach JV Division. Rory Baskin and Cara Jazzari closed out the Damien Novice Division. Sophia Moreno and Rory Baskin closed out the Hollywood Invitational Novice Division. Sophia Moreno and Maya Shaw closed out the Golden Desert Novice Division. And Lucia Sanchez-Gagerman was the champion of the St. Mark's Novice Division. Congratulations. One of the statistics that we look at in evaluating our season is our prelim winning percentage. As you can deduce, the average winning percentage for any debater in any tournament is 50%, because there's one winner and one loser in every debate. And beyond that, if your record is better, you hit people who have a better record, and if your record is not as strong yet, you're hitting folks who haven't won as many debates yet, which means that the procedure pushes you towards 3 and 3. It's a spiky normal, if you will. So 50% is, over the course of 2,000 rounds, most teams are pretty close to about 50%. And that number doesn't budge a lot. Between last year and this year, our team prelim winning percentage jumped over 3%, which I know doesn't sound like is a big number, but is a really big number given sample size. And our elim round winning percentage jumped even more by more than 4%. We won 57% of our elimination rounds. That's really, really good. So the students as individuals, we also track their prelim winning percentage. For the last 5 years, the team record has been held by Sophia Danielpour. She won in her senior year 69.55% of her debates. That's really, really good. That record has stood for 5 years, no problem. Only one person has ever gotten anywhere close to it in that period of time. After this year, that record is in 4th place. 3 students exceeded that all-time win record percentage this year. Hopefully, and Maya Jen are within a fraction of each other at around a little over 72%, 3% jump above the record. At the beginning of this year, one of Wyatt's goals was to surpass Sophia Danielpour's record. Her prelim winning percentage this year was 86.5%, surpassing that record by 17 percentage points. Not bad. They're all juniors, and who knows what's going to happen, but I do not know that record will ever be better. Okay. As you can imagine, we orient our season's competitive aspiration towards some of the end of season tournaments, the championship tournaments, and the junior varsity and varsity divisions. And an embarrassment of riches, I have to report that we had quite a season in those tournaments as well. Maya Shaw won both the Western Regional JV Championship, which she closed out with Rory Baskin, and the Woodward JV National Championship. This is the 2nd consecutive year that we have won both of those tournaments, and our students who did so this year were 8th graders. Yeah. At the varsity level, debates is a little bit like golf or tennis. There are kind of majors. There are multiple championship tournaments that we focus on. One of them is the National Speech and Debate Association National Tournament. That doesn't take place till June, but I'm pleased to report that Shay Lee advanced out of our NSDA district to qualify for that tournament. So we look forward to seeing Shay debate at that tournament in June. The second big tournament that's circled on our calendar is the National Debate Coaches Association Championship. In order to compete at that tournament, you have to earn a certain number of NDCA points over the course of the year, which confusingly are different than the NSDA points I just told you about. If you reach a certain number of points, you qualify to the tournament. This year, Wyatt, Maya, Hope, Jocelyn, Violet, Marley, Penelope, Shay, Corinna, Olivia, Gabby, Alexis, Leah, Tatum, and Penny were all automatic qualifiers to the NDCA tournament. You also performed very well at that tournament. Olivia O had a breakout performance, making quarters as a freshman at a national championship tournament. And Wyatt made it all the way to semifinals. Great championship. And the last and very important tournament on our schedule is the Tournament of Champions. Last year, we set a record for the number of bids our students earned to the Tournament of Champions. That record was 6. This year, our students earned 17 bids to the Tournament of Champions. Wyatt earned 8 bids, Maya earned 5 bids, Hope earned 3 bids, and Leah Fisher got a TOC bid as a freshman. That's really outstanding. And Wyatt, showing off as usual, made the octafinals, the furthest any Marlborough debater has ever advanced in that tournament. I still think we won that octafinals round, but that's just sour grapes. Okay, how in the world did they get so good? The short answer is this. So far this season, we have held 135 practices for either middle school or high school students or both. The students have attended 1,987 practices. That's almost 166 full 24-hour days of debate practice. That's really, really good. Our practice attendance champion this year, coming to 85% of the practices, more than 100 of them, is Penelope Presley. Wyatt was the runner-up at over 80%, and Rory, Alexis, and Sienna rounded out the top 5, all coming to over 70% of the practices. As impressive as all of those statistics and accomplishments are, I find year after year that the thing that actually impresses me most about our students, the things that stick with me, are their non-competitive successes. And I want to tell you about a few of those. The National Speech and Debate Association recognizes a group of folks as academic All-Americans, for folks that excel both in their debate competition but also in their schoolwork. Fewer than 2% of NSDA students earn that honor every year. Juniors and seniors are eligible. This year, 6 Marlborough debaters are NSDA academic All-Americans: Jocelyn, Alexis, Hope, Maya, Violet, and Wyatt. I'm going to remember a lot of things about this year. I'm going to remember all of the middle school practices where the high school volunteers who showed up outnumbered the middle school students who were there to practice. That's not because there weren't many middle school kids, it's because there's a lot of high school kids. I'm going to remember the many times that students didn't bat an eye before rallying to help prepare a teammate that advanced farther than them. I'm going to remember at the presentation tournament when Wyatt was staying an extra day to participate in a round robin, and the entire team wrote notes of encouragement and left it on the bed so that she could find it the next day. I'm never going to forget the team's anger and disgust in defense of Hope when one of her opponents misrepresented an argument in an important debate, and when I witnessed their resolve to never put winning above intellectual integrity and sportsmanship. I'm going to remember the way the team rallied when our affirmative case file was stolen and distributed and mocked by online bullies. And I'm not going to forget the way we slammed it back into those bullies' faces by winning the Banquet tournament the next weekend. And, I'm going to tell you about that Banquet tournament. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the country. Wyatt won it this year without losing a ballot. She debated, that's 12 consecutive rounds. She was utterly exhausted through the entire thing. I will never forget that performance. And maybe more importantly, at the same time, despite that exhaustion, taking care of her teammates to make sure they had prep and were well taken care of, and the folks were eating together. I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget the way they rallied behind her. I will never forget at the NDCA tournament when we had a terrible round 5, which set up a round 6 full of bubble rounds. Rounds that we had to win if we were going to advance, 7 of them in that round. A lot of pressure. The team, I've seen happier funerals. They looked down and out. They rallied to win 5 of those 7 debates against really hard opponents in the national championship tournament. I was so proud of them. And I remember also at that tournament, Penelope Pressman doing rebuttal reviews, even after she was out of the tournament, done for the season, because she was so determined to keep getting better. I remember at the Woodward JV National Championship, coming back from the tournament, we're sitting in the airport, the kids were doing their homework, as they very often are as we're traveling, and Kika Moreno was doing her language tests, her Apple language tests. And I noticed that she was doing her Mandarin test before her Spanish test. And it turns out that the questions on these tests are the same for different languages. And what Kika explained was, because she's much more comfortable with the Spanish language one, she always takes the Mandarin one first, so that she doesn't feel like she's cheating. Nobody would know the difference. Maybe my favorite moment from the year, also from the Berkeley tournament, has to do with another debate bully. So Maya Jen was traipsing around the Berkeley tournament and heard a gaggle of twittering boys listening to a recording of somebody speaking and laughing at that recording. And Maya suspected and could detect that that recording was of one of her teammates. So, awkward situation, she marched up to this group of boys and said, "Is that my teammate?" And they giggled and looked at each other nervously. And she said, "I want to know if you recorded my teammate without her permission." And one of the boys literally looked at his friends, said, "Help me, bro," and physically ran away. That is not the first time I have seen Maya Jen stand up for a friend who do not want to be on the wrong end of it. So, as you can deduce from these stories, there are many things that I like about my job, but some of the best moments are when I get to see kids find the place of their deepest integrity, the line they will not cross, the bullying or bigotry they won't abide, the banal peer pressure they rise above, the stultifying conformity against which they set their faces. Those moments never look like fear of rocking the boat, or deciding that discretion is the better part of valor, or of shrugging resignation. They always look like the student speaking or acting bravely. Bravery being, in the words of Ambrose Redboone, not the absence of fear, but the decision that something is more important than fear. Indeed, the scariest or proudest moments of most of our lives, I would wager, are the moments when we have the courage to speak in defiance of authority or against popular opinion, overcoming the fear and anxiety of our hearts. It's possible at times to imitate bravery, and sometimes people think debate is nothing more than cultivating false bravado and exercise in sophistry. It might surprise you to learn that what we teach more than anything is doubt, uncertainty, the frailty of our perspective and the incompleteness of our knowledge. How could skepticism lead to the courage of conviction? How could self-doubt possibly lead to self-confidence? I don't know if I have a totally satisfying answer, but I have a few pretty good guesses. The habit of thinking critically gives us the courage to declare that the emperor has no clothes, that power and authority are often illusory, and that we defer to it at our peril. The habit of living the examined life, fraught though it may be, cultivates a sense of purpose and agency that we cannot get when we're in the thrall of some demagogue or guru. It's a banal observation, isn't it, that those who would most loudly proclaim their certainty and fealty are in fact the most anxious and afraid. As Hannah Arendt observed, it is somehow not society's most respectable citizens, but the doubters and the skeptics who are most inclined to stand against injustice when everything is on the line. Every debater sitting here tonight has in their heart and in their mind the power to move mountains, to speak the words that will bring down the walls of Jericho. They are powered not by their credulity, but by their intellectual and moral humility. Human conversation is the most potent weapon we have, and they're learning little by little to wield it. You can speak truth and justice into existence, such is the power of their voices when they decide to use them bravely. One of the first lessons we teach incoming 7th graders is to repeat the mantra, "I have a voice," and the world is going to hear it. In dark times, these assertions may be spoken with trepidation and hope as articles of faith more than empirical certainties. But in moments when it feels like the center cannot hold, what greater cause for optimism can there be than seeing Marlborough debaters in action and in the world? Perhaps you have a sense of why. I feel so very privileged and so much pride to get to work with them every day. Now, I have told you about some of the best moments of my job, but I'm afraid I also have to share with you one of the most difficult, which is that every year we have to say goodbye to a wonderful group of seniors here as they graduate and set out on their own. For all the reasons I've said, sending them out into the world gives me hope. But before they go, it's fitting that we should take a moment to honor everything they've done here and the indelible mark that they'll leave on the Marlborough debate family. Sip of water. As a group, our three outstanding seniors, who are conveniently seated next to each other, are Gina, Jocelyn, and Helena. They have represented Marlborough in 427 debate rounds and 76 tournament appearances. That's 640.5 hours of competitive debating, almost 27 full days. I'm going to say a little bit about each of them, then I'm going to ask them to come forward to be recognized. I'm going to give them a little graduation gift. A couple of our traditional gifts are two of my favorite books, Hannah Arendt's Responsibility and Judgment, just a refresher before going off to college, and Christopher Hitchens' Letters to a Young Contrarian. And I will also be giving them, at each debate practice, I have the students write down on an index card something for which they were grateful that day, and then collect those index cards and give them to the students when they graduate. So, Gina Kenny. Gina has represented Marlborough in 125 Lincoln Douglas debates at 23 different tournaments. In December, I got to see Gina dance the role of the Sugar Plum Fairy in this year's performance of The Nutcracker, which ballet aficionados will know is quite an achievement. She performed beautifully, of course, and I could see the skills she had honed over the years with hard work and dedication. And it made me think of just how much Gina has grown in debate and as a person as well. Gina has always been an unfailingly sweet, kind, and earnest presence on the debate team. That was clear from the start. My impression of her in the 9th grade was of someone a little quiet, a little shy, but despite pushing her out of her comfort zone, Gina has stuck with debate all 4 years, even through challenge and adversity. She has never lost her growth mindset, always trying to improve and deepen her skills. Like ballet, I've had the privilege of seeing the payoff of that hard work in the form of the excellent analytical reasoning skills she displayed when I had her in my presidential elections class, and in her deeply interesting honors research project on the glass cliff and other barriers women face in entrepreneurship. I encourage you to ask her about it if you have a celebration of innovation later this week. It's fascinating. She speaks well about it. Through all of this, it's been a joy to see Gina find her voice in debate, growing from that shy 9th grader into a self-possessed young woman with the goal of using her advocacy skills and her integrity to make the world a better place. I have no doubt she'll do just that. And I've gotten to see another side of Gina this year, taking care of and supporting her little sister Julia, a 7th grader new to the debate team, so the Kenny legacy will live on. Gina, thank you for everything over the last 4 years. I hope you feel the wind at your back as you head off to college. We will be rooting for you. Helena Hudlin. Helena has represented Marlborough in 109 Lincoln Douglas debates at 20 different tournaments. I've known her since she came to us in the 7th grade. Helena is simply the most joyful person I have ever met. Anyone who has spent more than a minute around her will know that there is not an ounce of hyperbole in that statement. Her laughter rings up and down the halls at Marlborough. Her infectious smile lights up the debate room, and her happy and loving presence lifts everyone around her like boats on the tide. There is more, though, to Helena's charisma than just levity, though she is hysterically funny. And it won't do, in fact, to give you the impression that she's some kind of class clown or court jester. In fact, I'm going to make a rather counterintuitive claim, which is that Helena is actually a very serious person. She is serious not in a sense that she is sullen or morose, but in being a person of depth and presence and inner strength. Her joyfulness is not mindless frivolity, but deep wisdom, like an elder that's seen every hardship but can somehow still laugh at the world. She's self-aware and self-deprecating. When we talk every year about our team culture and what it means to be a thoughtful person, she offers deep and insightful reflection, disguised as always by the lightness of her personality, but penetrating and incisive. She is the only student ever to meet the quotation wall in the debate classroom with the simple, brilliant observation, "The herd sucks." She is an independent thinker, liked by everyone, but not straining for their approval. She is unembarrassed of being entirely authentic all the time. Her depth of feeling comes out almost involuntarily. She always talks about debate making her cry in a good way. Before the banquet, during the banquet, after the banquet, crying. And she never misses an opportunity to express gratitude or encouragement. Helena, we cannot wait to see you spread your light beyond the walls of Marlborough, and we will always carry a bit of the joy that you left us. Jocelyn Sheck. Jocelyn has represented Marlborough in 193 Lincoln Douglas debates at 33 different tournaments. And that does not include the countless simulated debates she participated in while touring as an actor with What the Constitution Means to Me, doing us proud by putting her debate skills on display to a national audience. I have also known Jocelyn since she came to us in the 7th grade. Jocelyn Sheck is the embodiment of what the old-timers would call a good egg. She is a consummate team player, splitting time as a team leader in 2 of Marlborough's nationally competitive academic programs, debate and robotics. In fact, she's just back from the Robotics World Championships in Houston. Her workmanlike determination has buoyed our squad since she was very young, and I can always count on her to contribute to our research, support her younger teammates, and cheer on her peers, all while winning her fair share of debates as well. There are 2 kinds of moments when I feel like I see the truest of Jocelyn. First, though she's sometimes reserved and reflective, there are moments when her intellectual enthusiasm for some subjects bursts forth. I saw it earlier this year in her passionate defense of robots when I made the mistake of maligning them. I've seen it in the joy she takes in musical theater, a subject she will happily discuss for hours. And during her year on the road, away from Marlborough, she wrote a whole philosophical affirmative case, even though she wasn't even debating that year, just because she got interested. Being a polymath isn't just about having a broad array of competencies, but rather a reflection of her desire to express both the analytical and creative capacities she has cultivated through her many pursuits. She talks about not wanting to be sequestered into a narrow course of study and says, "I just don't want to give up a part of myself that's curious." That is just one of the several ways in which Jocelyn embodies what is best about the Marlborough debate team. Another manifests in moments when her passion for social justice comes to the fore. She challenges us to be more mindful and inclusive, and expresses the hope that her impressive academic achievements can result not only in self-edification, but also in improving the lot of folks in marginalized communities. I have no doubt that she will put her many skills to just that purpose, and I can't wait to see who she becomes in the years ahead. Thank you, Jocelyn. Those are awfully big shoes to fill, and we're so grateful for Gina, Jocelyn, and Helena. We have an outstanding slate of captains for next season as well. Those folks will be Violet Affleck, Hope Lee, Maya Jen, Wyeth Renwick, and Alexis Weiss. When I look around this room, it's humbling to think how many people put forth their time and talent and resources to support what our students are doing. And so there are a few folks that I have to mention. First, some Marlborough staff. the Auxiliary Services and Events Coordinator, Allison Bernard, the Media Program Head, Eric Huezo. Both went above and beyond tonight to make our event possible. Thank you to those folks. Director of Facilities, Matt Riddle, the facilities and custodial staff, and all of the security staff have been awesome for us this year. They did the setup for this event, and they have enabled us to be on campus many a Saturday and during spring break. And they always make sure we have great facilities in which to work and make sure that the kiddos are safe coming and going. So thank you to all of our Marlborough staff. We are fortunate to be joined tonight by a veritable rogues gallery of Marlborough administrators who are also valued colleagues and friends. Please welcome Ms. Regina Rosie Mitchell, Dr. Sean Fitz, and Mr. Jonathan Allen. Believe me when I tell you that to stage a debate program as ambitious as Marlborough's requires an enormous behind-the-scenes effort by the folks I just mentioned. They see to it that your kids have the resources and institutional architecture and encouragement to thrive in debate. They are invaluable thought partners as we try to overcome challenges and make the program a little better every year. And most importantly, they recognize that what we do is not just an opportunity for the school to earn prestige, but an integral part of living our core values. I've never been at a school with such unwavering support, and these are the folks that make that happen. So please join me in thanking them. And of course, our many wonderful parents here tonight. You send them to us with kindness and work ethic and enthusiasm and humor and curiosity. We often send them home exhausted and sick and crabby, and perhaps occasionally a bit contrary. You drop them off at the crack of dawn, you fight the traffic at LAX to pick them up from a long delayed flight. You worry for them and you cheer for them. You are there for the tears of disappointment and anxiety and anger, and not as often as we'd like for the triumphs and trophies. Because of you, they show up as the remarkable young people they are, ready to grow and learn and become. In all of our email correspondence, in the coming and the going, your love for them is conspicuous. They wear your wisdom on their sleeves, and they could not do any of this without you holding up the foundation every day. We are humbled that you trust us to help guide them down the path, and so grateful for everything that you do to make Marlborough Debate possible. Thank you, parents. Last but certainly not least, Chris Tice, dear friend of Marlborough. Chris is my dear friend and comrade in arms. I knew, of course, that when Chris came to work with us, that we were getting one of the finest argument coaches in the United States, and it's been so much fun to see our students thrive under his tutelage. But the thing that really makes our program hum and that has been so gratifying for me has been the fact that Coach Chris is not just in it for the competition. One of the reasons I'm so picky about our assistant coaches is that it is vanishingly rare to find someone who not only has the requisite expertise, but who shares our broader philosophy about the educational mission of the activity. His kindness, his humor, his generosity of spirit, along with his work ethic and his intellectual and personal integrity, all reinforce the most important things we teach. And the kids know he has their back. Early mornings and late nights at debate tournaments, the countless hours of research and practice, his dedication to seeing the kids grow, not just as outstanding debaters, but as outstanding people, makes me terribly proud and honored to coach alongside him. Thank you, my friend. With that, I am going to turn things over to our senior captains to say a few words.
Hi all. I'm Jocelyn and I'm one of the seniors, as Torsten has mentioned. I can't believe that I reached the end of my time in debate here after 6 years of competing at Marlborough. Debate has changed the way that I view the world more than anything else that I've done or seen or tried in life, truly. I can't imagine any other activity where I could learn about the mechanics of a lethal autonomous weapon or read hundreds of pages of some French dude Baudrillard talk about how literally nothing around us is real, or analyzing global historical anti-oppression movements, all in one place. Debate motivates me to be a socially engaged person every single day, and even when we argue about silly K-alts or bad counterplans, it showed me that a better future is worth fighting. But even though I'm grateful for all the information that I've learned from debate and for the public speaking skills it's helped me discover, I'm even more grateful for the Marlborough debate community that through debate here has helped me find. You all are the smartest, kindest, most passionate people I know, and I feel honored to have been able to learn and laugh and grow alongside you these past 6 years. From fervent debates over our next team sweatshirt design to hard-hitting questions about national policy, you all keep me on my toes and have pushed me more than anyone I know. Yet, I've never felt more comfortable around a group of people as I have with all of you, and I don't know anyone's eager to learn about the world as you all are. But most importantly, I can't thank everyone who has coached me during my time here at Marlborough enough. Obviously Ben, Haley, Tice, and most importantly, maybe, definitely Mr. Torsten. Torsten, where are you? Oh, yay! You have been my biggest advocate from day one of doing debate in 7th grade, always pushing me to be the best version of myself, both as a debater and as a human being. You're, like, truly, I'll never be able to go on my phone without thinking of smartphone talk ever again. But your support has encouraged me to ask difficult questions, follow my passions, and take risks. I'm always in awe of your seemingly infinite knowledge about niche philosophers' ideas and your ability to describe every current and historical event in our weekly current event graphics. You inspire me to be a more thoughtful person every single day, and that is definitely why you won the NDCA Educator of the Year Award. I know that Marlborough Debate is in amazing hands with Torsten and Tice and all of you, the next generations of Marlborough debaters, and I can't wait to see what you all do next. Have fun, debate well. I love you all endlessly.
I couldn't agree more, and I did warn everybody that I would be a hot mess at the debate if I tried. So here I am, like I predicted it. Anyways, let's try to get through this. So I began, I can't believe I began my journey at Banquet debate when I was in 7th grade, and I joined Torsten's Debate 1 class. And I became mesmerized by the world of affirmative cases and cross-examinations and LP databases and crime. And I decided that debate was the thing for me. And over the past 6 years, my favorite extracurricular became my passion, and my passion became my identity. Oh, Lord. I love debate, and it has changed my life. And I could go on and on about the amazing skills that I've learned, but since half of the people here are on Marlborough Debate, and the other half are on the email chain, you all know why we love debate and the skills that we've learned. But what really makes me this emotional, and what I want to talk about today, is Marlborough Debate. Because there's something, or really someone, that makes it special, and that's Mr. Torsten. Torsten, I think I can speak for all of us that you inspire me and all of us to be a better person. You inspire me to be more empathetic. You inspire me to learn more, to know more. You inspire me to be kinder. You inspire me to be more thoughtful, to think more rationally. You are such an incredible coach and just really an incredible role model. And I'm so grateful to have been a part of this team, and you make all of our lives so much better. And this year was, unlike any other for me on the debate team, and that's because I have an autoimmune disease that can significantly change my day-to-day life. And this year, in this season, I really struggled with it, and I wasn't really able to be, to go to tournaments or really be, as an intense debater as I usually am. And that was really hard because as I've just established for the past about minute and a half, I love debate. It's like my whole identity. And it made me realize how much I love the team and how much I love just sitting in that room and being around some of the most amazing people I've met in my entire life. And all of you guys on the team, thank you, because you make my life better and you make that 3 to 5 p.m. part of my day the highlight of my day. And I may be the oldest on this team, but I'm always learning from you, and you guys inspire me, so thank you. But as I said, I wasn't really feeling the best, and I wasn't really even a debater, so it's like, Torsten's like, you're not a debater. But he still looked out for me, he still supported me, he still had my back, because that's the kind of person he is. He saw me, and he sees all of you as people beyond debate. And I hope that this person just showed their appreciation, because I am so thankful for you. Thank you. I love you guys.
Hey guys, my name is Gina. It feels like really yesterday that I joined debate in 9th grade, so it's really weird for me to be standing here and reflecting on my past 4 years. I don't know. This feels really strange. But I guess I just wanted to start with debate was actually the first community I ever joined. So I came into Marlborough and I was looking at the course selections and I chose debate, and I think that it truly is the best community I ever joined. I remember being terrified, utterly terrified of, and thinking that maybe there was this community and this family that was set up since 7th grade that I had already missed on, but I learned very quickly that that was not the case. I learned very quickly that there was a family and a community that welcomed me with open arms, and I'm truly forever grateful for that. And I think that 9th grade Gina would have never expected this unforgettable 4 years, these unforgettable people that I'll meet throughout those next 4 years, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So I kind of wanted to start by saying that debate is hard. This little talk that I'm doing right now is hardly enough for me to express how much debate has taught me. It's taught me how to look at everything through a critical point of view. It's taught me how to reason through things, how to understand things, how to look at things through a multifaceted perspective. And that's not something I would have been able to get anywhere. I think it's those conversations that I had with Torsten, it's the conversations that I had with my debate team and with the people around me that truly shaped me into becoming the debater and the person that I am today. And so that's not to say that debate didn't come without its struggles, and I know that every single one of you debaters know that. I know many times you guys come out of your round saying, the judge voted unfairly, and trust me, I told my mom that a lot. I think when I talked with the older debaters who, were there for me in previous years and with my coaches, they taught me to not waste my time on thinking about the judge's individual opinions and individual decision, but to spend more time growing and to spend more time reflecting on it. And I think that's probably one of my biggest takeaways in order to understand that I should constantly look back at my mistakes and look back at my accomplishments and realize that there's always room for growth. And that's something I'm going to take with me throughout college, throughout the rest of my life. And As my previous captains have said, there is one person that got me through all of that, and that's Mr. Torsen. Thank you so much, Mr. Torsen, for everything you do. Everything that you've taught me, all of the maturity that you've shown me. You've truly been a role model to me all 4 years, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And I can't tell you enough how much every fist bump before a round and every post-round debrief really means so much to me, so thank you. And I guess I just wanted to close off by talking to my debate family, really. You guys, I'm like so confident in you guys. To you juniors who are gonna be our debate captains next year, I know you're gonna do amazing things for our team and for yourselves. I know you middle schoolers will continue to inspire me with all your energy, your overwhelming energy and overwhelming persistence. And to everybody else, to the 10th graders and to the 11th graders, you guys truly are the backbone of our team, and we are really grateful for that. So thank you guys. I love you guys all so much. And we actually have something prepared for Mr. Torsen and Tice. So you guys, maybe you could come up.
Good? Okay, wonderful. Okay, not hard to see. We feel so lucky to have such outstanding captains, right? Okay, folks, that is almost the very last thing that we're going to ask of you tonight. There's one more thing, which is we need a team picture. So we're going to have folks make their way over to the staircase and line up. We're going to try to have younger students further up the staircase, older students closer to the base of the staircase. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming tonight, and have a good night.